Alright guys, welcome back. This is episode 3 of turning my B5 into a rear-wheel drive drift car. Now, there's a lot to do today and this week. Today is Sunday, but this coming Sunday is the first drift event that I'm trying to make at Elko Speedway. It's just a Sunday fun day. It's $50 a drive, so I don't really want to miss that because I am learning this car and learning how to drift. I don't want to spend $150 plus on a day drifting at a bigger event where there's going to be a lot more people and less seat time for myself. So I'm going to try to make the Sunday fun day, but I have to do brakes, front suspension, everything, and then install coilovers as well as pull my knuckles out and my rear diff, bring those into my job and weld those up. The knuckles obviously I got to cut and weld, but the rear diff I got to pull apart and weld that. We weren't able to get that done at Darren's shop, which is okay. I do weld for a living, so I'm able to bring that stuff into my job and get that done. It's just time constraint. It's if I can pull all this stuff in time to bring that into work, get that all done, and then put it all back together and somewhat get the car aligned, I guess. Eyeball alignment for this first event. So let's see what we can get done today. Let's get the car jacked up, wheels off, and start blowing everything apart. Car is now in the air, UFO mode activated. Can't really tell too much, but you see a little rusty, a little crusty and dusty, and your boy forgot PB Blaster, and a couple tools. So I'm gonna run over to Menards. So I'm going to take the S4, run over to Menards, get some PB Blaster. I need a couple other tools like I need 18 mil sockets and wrenches. I need 14 mil, no. I need a 10 mil hex, a 7 mil hex, and a 14 mil hex? I don't know. I have a list on my phone. I need a couple things, including PB Blaster, top of priority. And then I'll be able to try to either let these soak today and just do other things that I can and just let these soak for a couple hours and keep coming out here every couple hours and spraying. Or the other option would be to let them soak for a couple hours. I have to go get some parts, and I'll take you guys with me. I got to go get some parts from Drake and then come back here and then try to tackle some of this. But we'll see. I only have a week to try to get this shit done, so I'm going to try to do as much as I can. And me forgetting the crucial step of soaking all this rust in PB Blaster is kind of annoying, but, you know, it has to be done or else these parts are either going to snap or not come off at all. So, yeah, let's take that for the trusty steed. Let's go out to Menards. The wife brought out some food. So I can get to work on this. Boom, I got juice over there. Bam. Knock out some stuff. Alright, so I went on the Menards run. I have to go through my tools and see what I actually really need, because when I got there I was like, wait, they only sell a set of Allen sockets or whatever, Allen bits or whatever, and I was like, I have these, so do I have a 14? I have to go through all these. I got paper towels and a whole bunch of other stuff like shop towels and stuff, and PB Blaster. That was the main thing. So right now the car is under each wheel is cardboard. I'm soaking all the bolts in PB Blaster, and then in the meantime, as you guys saw, Darren ripped apart the harness where the coil packs are. So I bought some harness tape, some high temp like soft tape. I'm going to pull the harness like back off the coil packs, and then I'm going to tape them up just so I don't have any raggedy wires or exposed wires. And then I'm going to put the weather sealing back onto the plugs for the coil packs so I can eventually like give this engine bay a good rinse, because it is very dusty, very dirty, and it looks a little beat up, and I'm not that type of guy that likes this look, even though my hood's mainly going to stay shut. But yeah, so let's jump into that while all these bolts are soaking. And then every hour or so I'm going to respray all the bolts just to make sure, you know, it's actually soaking in really good, getting everything nice and lubed up. And then I might tackle the door. The door's right here. I'll show you a clip of that. I have a pearl white door. I can throw on the driver's door. So I might do that. Pretty much I'm going to try to stay busy while the PB Blaster is soaking in on the bolts that I really need to get to. I'm going to do all the other miscellaneous things that I can get done while that's happening. Okay, so the loom is done. You know, the car is rough, the engine bay is rough, but guess what? That looks really good. I'm gonna be honest. I'm impressed with myself. That looks good. So on to the next. So if you watch previous videos, you know that I've bought parts from Drake before, and he owns a shop, Lake Euros, in Forest Lake, Minnesota. All he does is buy, flip, and build B5s, mainly, pretty much always S4s. He has a super clean cactus green one that just got resprayed, like half the car, and it's perfect. But I'm going 50 minutes to him to go pick up some seals for my windshield because I do plan on painting my B5. So I'm gonna need those seals. Mine were rusted out and disgusting, so I'm gonna buy those. Probably talk to them for a little bit, and then get back on the road, get back to the house. A couple things that I bought at Menards, I need to return. Then I need to stop at Harbor Freight. I don't have a triple square, an M8 or an 8mm triple square at the moment, so I need to pick one of those up so I can get the axle bolts out. But we'll see. Alright, we're about to pull up, and look what I see outside. Ooh-wee. Look at that, rolling up to... yeah, just got here, and look at these beautiful Nagi S4 wagon, and then just a regular Nagi. Hell yeah. And then you got an S4 here. It looks like it got crunched in the front, but it's here nonetheless. And you got my S4. That's a clapper. Well, hell yeah. I went ahead and reparked. Now this is a shot. Okay, we're back. This was a 2.5 hour ordeal. The S4 Champ Daily Driver. I'll show you what I'll show you what I got in there. We're back at home. I stopped at Harbor Freight. I returned some things to Menards. I cleaned up my workbench area. Got the parts all over here. Some Raceline coilovers, whatever. But I wanted to start off with a clean slate on my desk, my workbench, because it's going to get messy. Because I am blowing this car apart, so I just want to not lose anything. So I'm going to start off fairly clean, organized, so I can just grab what I need and move. Let's see what I got here. So I got that trim piece I talked about, boom, but I also picked up a little side piece. And let's slap that bad boy in. I'll set this right up here. The car's getting painted, so I don't care about scratching it. But yeah, if we open this door right here, bada bing, bada boom. Oh my goodness, it's missing. And this goes right in there, slaps in. Once you line it all up, and it'll go right in. So I just got to do that. Get that in there. I'll finesse this in there. Let me put it down. Let me put down the camera. And just like that, it is in. Another thing I wanted to mention is that most of the suspension parts, for me at least, were either 16 mil or 18 mil. Pretty much all the bolts were 18 mil. The caliper bracket bolts were 18 mil. The only thing that was 16, I think, was the sway bar link. That was it. Everything else was 18. Yeah. Except,
Oh, like the tops of the tie rods and shit. I think those are 16 as well. But the top of the tie rod, top of the control arms. I'm retarded. Except the top of the tie rod bolt and the pinch bolt for the control arms. Those were different. But yeah, pretty much everything else, 18 mil. Let's move forward. All right, as you can tell, I'm wearing a Bush's shirt. It's a whole new day. Old work shirt, you know? But I left off last night with pulling the knuckles out and bringing them to my job. So all the control arms and everything are out. The brakes are off. Everything out, pretty much. There's one more bolt for the rear lower control arm. The bolt hits the actual chassis. I'm actually going to just cut off the head and force the nut, or first force the bolt the other way, and then when I go to put it on, I'm gonna put it on the other way. I'm gonna put the bolt from the front through the rear, so I don't run into this issue again. I don't know why they designed it this way. I don't want to lower my subframe to get it out or anything, so I'm gonna just cut it off and call it a day. What else? So here in a couple clips I'm going to show you, or what's next I'm going to show you is I brought my knuckles to work. I had to use a torch to heat up the bolt, heat up the pinch bolts, knock those out, and then I was able to use a rust needling thing. I forgot what they're called, but the needle thing. And I was able to knock a bunch of surface rust off of the knuckles. I'm gonna try to get a wire brush tonight, use a wire brush to clean them up, and then I'm gonna paint them. Just because while I'm in there, I might as well make them nice. And same for the calipers. I'm gonna paint the calipers too, just because if I have it all apart, might as well paint them and make them nice. And yeah, so now I got the delivery for my control arms. I got my brakes on the way. I might as well cut this bolt, get ready for this, and then start working on the rear end. Alright, iPhone clip. I'm going to grind these stubs down. These are basically bump stops for steering. I'm going to grind them down a little more flush just to get that little bit more of angle. Alright, so there, I shaved down both of them. I try to round them off a little bit, make them look nice, but those are done. These are needled and kind of wire wheeled a little bit to clean them up. I do plan on taping off some things and spray painting these with, high temp, whatever, just an enamel. I'm going to epoxy primer them first, like rattle can U-pull, just to rust inhibitor. If I have it apart, might as well make it look nice. I am a firm believer of taking pride in what you own and what you have and what you build, no matter the quality or how much money it is. So I still want it to look nice. So if I have it apart, might as well clean it and paint it. Same with these. These are the front brake calipers. I wire wheeled and degreased them. I'm going to paint these as well. These are, these go right behind the hub. They bolt like right here, right behind the hub between the knuckle. I'm gonna sandblast these, and I'm also gonna paint these as well. Might as well. Doesn't hurt. As I said, if it's apart, might as well make it look nice. All right, I don't know if you can hear me. It's pretty loud in here, but cut knuckle, I took 5/8 out. Basically, I cut 1/2 inch, and then I 1/2 inch out, and then I ground a little more on each side, just to make sure I had enough room for like fitment. It turned out to be 5/8, which is nice. That's what I was going for. I laid a root weld with a TIG welder, so I TIG welded around, made sure it was nice and good, and that internally that is a great weld. Then I MIG welded around it. It's not the prettiest, obviously, because these are dusty, rusty, kind of whatever. I cleaned them up as best as I could, but you know, these are all gonna get ground away. I am not worried about it. There's no porosity or anything. They're just ugly booger welds, but they're gonna get cleaned up. So, yep, I'm gonna let them cool before I start to grind them, and then yeah, knuckles are cut and welded. I ground the part that'll be like front facing a little bit because I do plan on painting these, and then you'll never know really. Like, I mean, you'll be able to tell, but you know, I just want it to look good. So they turned out really good. Yeah. Unmask. Here we go. All the holes are clean. Beautiful. Oh yeah. All right. Keystone apple. Gotta give it a whirl. This is like day 3 of working on this car. As you just saw today at work, I cut and welded my knuckles. I cleaned up my brake calipers. Both of those are ready for me to prime and paint them. I'm actually gonna hold off on that. Yesterday I got a notification saying that my brakes were delivered. They're not here. I was here when they said they were delivered to my front porch, but supposedly USPS, I received the wrong tracking number from the guy who I bought them off of on eBay. That's a whole nother fiasco. But the package that the tracking number was for was to my town, like to Farmington. And the package only weighed 11 pounds. So he's like, I doubt that it was brake pads and rotors in there. I'm like, doesn't sound about right. Doesn't sound right at all. So here we are. Josh, my lover boy, is coming over, and we're going to tackle the rear end since I'm at a standstill with my brakes. If I don't get my brakes by Friday, today is Tuesday, so if I don't get my brakes by Friday, I am definitely not drifting on Sunday. Which sucks because I'm in here busting my ass to drift this Sunday. My birthday is Thursday, so this is a birthday gift to myself. Hard work, a little blood, sweat, and tears into this car to go enjoy myself on Sunday. But it doesn't look like it's happening just because of eBay and them misplacing my package, or just, hey, it could be that I just received the wrong tracking number. He missed it by like maybe a digit or two, and my brakes are still on the way. Doubt it, but it could be. So we're gonna work on the rear end, get everything situated in the rear end, pull out my diff, and then if we pull out my diff today and like that's it, I'm successful. Then I can bring the diff to work and empty it there, and then weld it there, brake clean it, set it on fire there. So I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, so brakes. Without brakes, yeah, I'm cooked. You're thinking like, all right, why not just throw on your old brakes? That the brakes were on car. There's a reason I need brakes, and I will show you right now. All right, Exhibit A. Look at this, man. There's no pad. It is gone. When I say this car is a beater, a cheap beater, it is exactly that. Like, excuse me. There is nothing here. Nothing at all. It's just metal and metal. Like, maybe I could go buy pads. Like, these aren't that cooked. These rotors aren't that cooked, but maybe I can just go buy pads for the rear and be good. But if I have it all apart and pretty, might as well just replace them. And I have replacements on the way. So all of this is just pissing me off. Low key. All right, Josh is here. Savior with the tools. But we have reached a dilemma. The bottom bracket bolt here on the backside is stripped out. It's a 8mm hex or Allen, whatever you want to call it, and it's stripped. So I don't know what I want to do there, but everything else is unbolted everywhere. Same with the other side, but the other side was actually effective, I guess. We got the rotor and everything off, but I need a spring compressor to get these out, to be real. So I'm going to leave this how it is. I'm going to clean up the floor and then, just rust book it. I'm going to clean up the floor and then we're going to try to get this rear diff out. Also, snap the flex head ratchet, which is just so much fun. Look at that, RIP, man. Let's see. Boom. Alright, so it's a whole nother day, different shirt, you already know the vibes. Last night, last night was a doozy. That's why I didn't film anything. I got most of the rear, I guess, out, suspension wise, but I stripped a bolt on the rear caliper and I got to get that out. I got really frustrated, so I moved on to trying to get the drive shaft off the diff, and one bolt came out. Then the next bolt I did, it started to strip, so I stopped. And then another bolt started to go, and then it stripped. So then I just chilled out on that for now as well. I think I'm going to end the video right here, so stay tuned for part 2. I'm going to wait for a couple things to come in. Then I'm going to be able to use drill bits, extractor bits, stuff like that. I'm going to get in the meantime, I'm going to get the door on. I'm going to paint the calipers, the front struts, not front struts, front knuckles. I'm going to paint those. I'm going to just get that done. So in the next video will be the assembly of all of that. And, I just kicked the tripod. It would be the assembly of all of that and an update on whatever is going on in the rear end. So thank you guys for watching. I don't want this video to drag on too long, so I'm going to end it here. I'll see you guys in the next episode.